Would you like to begin a series of strategies that will propel you into achieving personal mastery? Do you desire to have breakthroughs in unlocking your potential? Do you seek to live a life that is full of joy, peace, and happiness? Each week, join Charles and Demetrius as they share tools and strategies that will help you take control of your life so you can live a life of peace, joy, and abundance. Now, here are your hosts, Charles and Demetrius.
No, stop. We're recording, man. I'm not his dad, man. We're not...
Dad. Come on.
No, that sounds so bad, too. I'm not his dad, right? All right, guys, let's go. All right, hold on. Let me stop laughing for the intro. All right. All right, and welcome back to,
Get professional, Charles.
All right, let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
And welcome back to another episode.
No, come on, man. Laughing is good, but not right now.
Right, it is good. It's good for the soul.
But he does this like every podcast.
I do ridiculous. Not. That is so untrue. That is not right. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Inner Success Radio. This is Chuck and Demetrius back for another exciting show to chat with another amazing guest, Miss Jade Elizabeth. Jade, welcome to Inner Success Radio.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our discussion.
Thank you so much for coming on. Demetrius, what's going on, my brother?
I am doing very, very good.
Very, very good.
What was that?
It's a beautiful day, actually. It's really, really nice.
You keep bragging about these. That's the second time you bragged about how good, how nice the weather is, man. Nobody wants to hear that type of stuff.
What do you want me to talk about? The socks you had on? You said you're trying to increase your sock game in 2017.
You saw that post.
What do you want me to talk about? If I'm not talking about the weather, yeah, I'll talk about your socks. I'm doing great, Charles, and I love the pictures with your socks on your Instagram page.
Let me tell you, it was cold and rainy.
Does that pass? It's cold and rainy?
No.
Okay.
It's cold and rainy here. Nobody wants to hear about nice weather. Jade, where in the world are you?
I'm in California.
Oh, you even bragging even more.
Oh, no, because it's been raining here as well. It wasn't raining today, but it rained yesterday. It's going to rain for the next 4 days. Today's just cloudy. And we've been in the 60s, low 60s out here.
Oh, I wish. Yeah, I'm originally from Buffalo, and I moved to Maryland back in 2006 and became completely spoiled. Winter is my least favorite of all the 4 seasons.
Well, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I know all about the weather.
What part of Pennsylvania?
It's a really little town called Hazleton.
How far is that from York?
York. I think York is much further north. No, maybe it isn't.
What about
I'm about 2 hours north of Philly.
Oh, okay. So yes, you're about.
Okay, I'm closer to. Have you heard of Allentown?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
It's really close to Allentown.
Okay.
Oh, were you?
He wasn't.
Yes,
there.
I was.
He was
I was
not.
in trouble.
I still
really
have family. Yeah, I still have family back there.
Yeah, we actually drive.
That's really good.
Going up to Buffalo, we drive through Allentown. So. Yep, cool stuff. Demetrius, man, let's get this thing started, man. Go ahead and take us away with do the thing that you do, brother.
All right, let's do it. So we got a question of the day. Is everybody ready? Can I get some music, Charles?
Man,
Can we get some music?
Dun, 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 dun.
Where's your DJ stuff? You don't got no effects there going? Come on, man.
No,
All right, here's the question of the day. Would you rather have sex with a goat and no one would know? Or would you rather not have sex with a goat but have everyone think that you did? All right, again, the question for everybody that's in the gym, running on the treadmill, listening to us, we didn't forget about you. We want to keep you participating in the question of the day with us, as well as those of you that decide to listen to us on your way to work. I'll read the question again, and then we'll go to Charles first. The question is, would you rather have sex with a goat and no one would know? Or would you rather not have sex with a goat, but have everyone think that you did? Charles, what would you rather?
I would go with the latter. People are going to think what they think anyway. They think I have had sex with a goat. That's fine. I would much rather everybody think I did than me actually having sex with a goat.
Now, are you sure? Before we go to Jade, are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for your participation, Charles. All right. Let's go over to Jade. Jade, the question is again, would you rather have sex with a goat and no one would know? Have sex with a goat, but have everyone think that you did?
Can I go with either?
You got to pick one or the other.
I have to pick one. Well,
You got to pick one.
That's a tough one. I think I'm with Dimitri.
No, that's Charles. You
sorry,
don't know.
I think
You don't
I'm
know
with
what I'm gonna
Charles
say
then.
yet.
I definitely don't. So what other people think, I can't control.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you sure? Before I answer mine, are you
I'm
sure you want to stick
positive.
with? All right, good. So you know what? We all have something in common because I'm sticking with you on that one, Charles, as well as Jade, and I think that was a good way for us to get this interview started. She says she likes laughing, so
Yeah, that's a good
that
one.
got us a little chuckle. So let's do it.
Good. Yeah, thanks, Demetrius, for that's the most unique question that we've had through all of our 50 episodes of Inner Success Radio.
And I stole it from the internet. I stole it.
We didn't.
It's stolen.
Can't really steal it, right?
No, we stole it.
We borrowed.
No, once it's out there, it's out there for everyone.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
You just transitioned it. You just helped transition the message. That's all you did.
You guys really know how to make someone feel good. You guys really do.
All right, let's get started. So, Jade, one of the things we're always interested in finding out is a person's journey, how somebody ended up where they are. So, tell us a little bit about your background and tell us a little bit about the type of work that you're into.
Well, my background is I've done many things. I mean, over my life, starting at the beginning, I've worked in beauty shops. I've actually was a pitchman at one time and worked my way cross country from Pennsylvania to California. But the biggest thing for me was always feeling I wasn't good enough. So my journey was all on finding how to really love me and what that entailed and all of the different areas that I got into and the different things that I've studied in order to finally come with peace of loving the person I really have become and am.
And so was there a defining moment in your life that switched over to the path that you're on? Because sometimes when we may have some type of premonition, or we may have some type of near-death experience, or we may pick up a book that changed the course of our lives. What was it for you that put you on this particular path?
Well, I was actually in a self-development class, and the instructor was also a Reiki master. I don't know if people out there are familiar with the hands-on modality called Reiki, but I decided that I would do it because everyone kept telling me I was a natural healer. So in the middle of the attunement, I actually had an aha moment where the tears started to roll, and for the first time, I really knew why I was here.
That's powerful. Yeah, we actually, well, she's not we actually did another recording just the other day, Amira Hall, and it was one of our most powerful interviews we've ever done. And she's also an energy healer as well. And if I believe it, she had a similar experience. So when people go to these energy sessions, right, and you started breaking out in tears, it's something. I think sometimes it's something that we can't even put into words of what happened.
Right. No, that's very true. Yes, very true. And since I became a Reiki master and started doing a lot of energy, that's generally the biggest thing that I work with is, what is energy? Energy is love. Energy is all around us. We're talking on things that are energy. We're sitting on material that's really made of energy. But it was in one of my sessions that I was doing for someone. It was actually a gift of a session. She had lost two of her family members, her mother and her uncle had raised her because her dad passed away when she was very young, and it was very quick and unexpected. And I was doing a session on her. And before that, I had been asking what really is unconditional love. Because, we say we unconditionally love someone, but what really is that? And I wasn't sure I really knew what that was. So I had been asking the universe that question, and I actually had a sighting. Across the table, I was told to open my eyes, and there stood Mother Mary. She actually placed her hands on top of mine. Sorry, I'm going to get a little teary-eyed. And when she put her hands and melted them into mine, there is no words in the English language that can actually describe what unconditional love is. I think in order to really, for everyone to really experience it, we need to go back home, which means we need to go home to our maker. Because in this reality, in this third dimension, where everything is positive, negative, it's pretty difficult to really have that same feeling. But I feel so gifted in order to that I actually experienced it.
Now, as an energy healer, of course, you have a high level of energy. Your auric field probably expands, wide. When you're doing energy sessions, you're, I guess, ultimately, and correct me if I'm wrong, I guess, not healing their energy using your own energy.
No, it's not mine. It's energy. How the energy works is you are the vessel, like a teapot. Okay. The energy is the tea itself that flows through you.
I got you.
So you are the vessel that delivers it.
Okay.
Now people say, well, why can't it just be delivered directly to me? Well, it can, but in most cases, we can't get out of our own way to know what our issues are.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, you said you didn't originally know about what unconditional love was. Was that correct?
Yes.
All right. So how long have you been doing what you're doing?
Over 11 years.
Okay. So that's long enough for you to probably know this answer, which I'm curious to know. Do you think that most people know the difference between love and unconditional love, or no?
No, I don't think so. At least not the unconditional love that I felt. Because even since then, I have noticed a huge difference when I do my classes and my teaching, because it is something that now emanates from me that other people pick up on. They feel it, they see it when my hands are on them, when they're in my presence. I have just watched so many lives changed, which for me is fantastic, because that, I believe, is part of the reason that I'm here. It wasn't just to heal me, but it's also to spread the word.
Wow, that's okay. That's really big. I remember the moment when I realized the difference as well. And I always am interested to know, like, what is the percentage of people that actually receive unconditional love in a lifetime? And, I think the fact that you're on that same wavelength, and when you had that opportunity to figure it out, that's really big. My next question is, are you a true redhead?
No. I am at heart, but I am not. No.
What do you mean at heart?
Well, I'm a really fiery person. I'm Sagittarius, but if you look at a chart, I have got so much fire signs within me that, to me, it just fits my personality. So I've always been a redhead at heart. It's just that nature didn't give it to me.
Have you ever heard of Zig Ziglar?
Yes, I love Zig Ziglar.
The only redhead that I really know is his wife. You know how he always calls it a redhead?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I thought of you, so I wanted to ask that question. Do people call you a redhead?
Not really.
Not really, okay.
No, not
he calls
really.
his wife redhead all the time. It's so funny.
No, they don't. Although they remember me because I think of the redhead. And also my voice. My voice is a dead giveaway for people.
You sound like, when they used to have those 900 numbers where you call in, hey, how you doing? I can see your voice. Your voice has one of those type of connections.
Well, it's
Why are you
also
laughing?
very, very good for leading meditation and hypnotherapy.
Yeah, it actually is.
Mhm.
It sounds very
Very
intriguing.
good. You have
Feels like you might be rubbing your leg during this interview.
Not really.
Whoa. um, so, so whenever I hear Reiki, for some particular reason, Tantra comes to mind. Are the two interrelated? Or
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Not to
And
my
is he
knowledge.
pronouncing Reiki? To
No,
sound
no,
the
it's
right
like
way?
ray, like the rays of the sun, and key, like a
Reiki.
key in the door.
Okay. I was just making sure. He has a trouble pronunciating words at times. Just for our listeners, it's not in person. Just for our
No,
listeners.
actually, Reiki is very, very ancient. It's very old. Or during the time of Atlantis, but just like anything else, everything disappeared. And it wasn't until the early 1900s that Masako Macau Sui actually rediscovered it, because I believe that Source said it was time for us to have it back because we needed it.
Yeah. What's your? I got a ton of questions. And thanks to Demetrius, he threw me off today. Anyways, as far as as far as New Age, right? A lot of the stuff that we're talking about today, Reiki, energy healing, it falls under this category of New Age, and I hate that because it's very primitive, right? The ancient Egyptians were even practicing some of the stuff that they're calling New Age today. Why do you think they're calling it New Age?
Because they have nothing, they don't know what else to call it.
They call it Old Age, right?
Yeah, but old age. But see, people admire antiques. That's old.
Yeah.
People aren't sure if they want to believe in what we label as New Age.
I got you.
But yet, every single one of us have it. It's like people are afraid of psychics, but yet every single one of us have intuitions.
Yeah.
What do they think a psychic is? It's a person that really connects with their intuition.
So are psychics banned from playing the lottery? Because I don't believe in psychic.
Here's my belief on it. I believe that Source makes everything even for everyone. They don't single out any one person. So psychics are no better, and they don't get the information any different than anyone else would, because Source is always for everyone's greatest good. Now that's my belief. So
let me ask you this. So people who are clairvoyants, actually the same lady that we was talking about earlier in the episode,
Amira Hall, she was clairvoyant. And of course, we were skeptic. And then after the interview was over, we were having a conversation, and she asked a question: "Is there anything you guys want to ask me?" And I was telling her a bunch of issues that I was having, as far as starting businesses and getting my life. Tell her a bunch of
direction.
She told you a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. But what was interesting was, and this is how I knew, this is how we knew that she was the real deal. She asked me a question, and I don't know where it came from. It came out of left field. She asked me, "What happened when you were 4 or 5 years old?" And it stopped me. And I'm like, wow. And what happened when I was 4 or 5 years old, I found my stepfather dead. And how was she able to pick that up? Right. So I know people who are clairvoyant, they don't know the exact specifics.
All information is out in the universe.
Yeah.
And whenever it's important for someone to take that next step, and apparently the two of you were ready to, you were on the teeter of wanting to believe, but yet not really believing. So to me, that's why the information came to her. Wow. It was a way for you to see that it's real.
And she really got on Demetrius. I mean, we're not even going to that. She laid the work on Demetrius.
Yeah, she did. She gave me the rice, the lettuce, tomato. She gave me the whole
the whole meal.
The whole enchilada.
The enchilada. So, Jade, as a Reiki master, what do you do personally to replenish your energy? Like, what type of practices do you use or do to keep your skills honed as a Reiki master?
Well, I give myself Reiki treatments every day. because there is such a thing as self-treatment. So you do that. I practice what's in my book for self-esteem and gratitude and joy, and I sit and I make time every day for short spurts of meditation and connecting, because when we do that, when we breathe, when we even spend time just breathing, and doing it in a way that brings light into our body and releases density, that in itself can make a huge difference in how you feel.
And as far as meditation is concerned, do you use any particular apps, or do you just use I guess what you have as far as use your own body? You either focus on your breath, or you may focus on a particular part of the body, or what type of meditations do you engage in?
Well, I like things that are going to answer questions. So I teach a class called the 7 Keys to Inner Mind Mastery. And it's different steps that you take in order to get you into a place of relaxation, of openness. And once you're there, you can ask a question and then just sit quietly and experience what comes back. To me, this is how people should get their answers. Same thing with automatic writing. I'll go into a state, I'll raise my frequency of my body, I pick up a pen and I just start to write. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense because I'm not getting anything, but before you know it, all sorts of information comes out for you. It was partially how I wrote my book.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, we're going to get into talking a little bit about your book in a little bit here.
I also have 2 Reiki books out there on the market at Amazon.
Okay, I have a question since we're talking about books.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about your book specifically, like Charles said, a little bit later. But writing a book, okay? What is what was your experience writing that first one?
Well, the first 2 that I wrote were Reiki books. And it actually took me, and I wrote it with my Reiki master, because her and I became partners in business together a long time ago. Her name was Catherine Morris. It took us about 7 years to really get it the way we want it, because our students that we brought up to be Reiki masters didn't really want to write their own. So these are working manuals that people can read or that people can teach from. So they were trial and error.
Okay. All right. The reason why I was asking, and that goes down the lines of it, we actually we had a guest on our podcast called Matt Aitchison, and he gave us this. He made this quote during normal conversation in our while we were talking. He said that if your first version is your best version, you released it too late. And you're saying it was a lot about trial and error with these first books that you were writing. Like, what did you think? What do you think about that quote that Matt shared with us? If your first version is your best version, you released it too late.
Well, the one thing that I've learned actually writing my book on the self-esteem was that you write it, you put it out there, and then you can make changes. The Reiki book wasn't something that we thought about publishing at first. So it was more of honing the skills as we were teaching the classes to our students. And if we found something that was better, we added it in. If we found something that, that wasn't as much necessary, then we took it out. But when we finally got to a point we refused to make any more changes, that's when we published it.
That is beautiful. Just to shuffle the cards up a little bit, what do you know about incense? Does that
Well, incense, it's a smell. It literally...
Not incest.
No, incense. It's a smell.
Okay.
It's a smell that shifts it could very well shift your energy vibration. It depends on what the incense is. Some change your mood. Some change the atmosphere where you're at. Some cleanses, like sage. Sage is an incense that literally cleanses the negative vibration. Native Americans have been using it for centuries to cleanse and clean.
What about frankincense? I know about. How do you feel about frankincense?
I love the smell of it, and I do burn it at times. To me, it's more of a mood changer for me. Now, someone else, it might work differently on their body. See, this is what most people don't understand. Because of our filter systems that we have in our own brain, okay, that it goes through, what works for one person may not work for someone else, or it may work differently for this person than for that person.
Is it more so it may work differently for one person to another, as opposed to what you said, it may not work, it may work for one and not for the other? I guess it's kind of like the question, does a tree that falls and no one hear it make sound? I believe it does. Do you believe?
I believe it does too. Yes, I believe it makes a sound no matter if anybody's there to hear it or not.
So are incense that historical, and does it have that much meaning where it does have an effect in some way on all of us? Would that be safe to say, or no?
Yeah, I believe that. But here's the thing. If someone believes it doesn't, it won't. Because your belief is stronger. It's always stronger than what occurs. This is why when they do trials and they give people those sugar pills, and they work on some people, and some that they give the regular medicine to doesn't work, it's all belief. Because our physical bodies and our minds are astounding in what we can do.
You're 100% correct, accurate on that. Because you know what? When I don't know if anybody has ever tried this, but when I was a little bit younger than I am now, I took the NyQuil, and I said, I am not going to fall asleep. And sure enough, it was hard, but I didn't fall asleep. Like, it was really, really hard, but I didn't fall asleep. And that's probably because I believe it, which is really cool. Thank you.
Right. So if a person believes that what someone does or allows it to come in and do what it's supposed to do, it'll work even 10 times faster and better.
Wow.
Now, as far as, so are you familiar with the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton?
Yes, I have a lot of his books.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I've only read one, The Biology of Belief. And, you know, that book was simply amazing. You know, and he goes into the science behind it. You know, a lot of people listening in right now saying, oh, you guys are just making up, you know, hogwash. This is BS. But there's an actual science to belief, right? It literally changes the structures of your DNA, which is unbelievable. You know, epigenetics is the field that it's called.
Do you remember the one part in the book where this one gentleman, and I can't remember names, but this gentleman actually drank some toxic material that they said should have killed him instantly, and it didn't bother him at all because his belief was, no, it won't.
Yeah. Now, we're not telling people to go out.
No, God, no.
No.
You know, to me, here is the secret. Here is the secret of why things will work for one person and maybe not for another. Even if you have a 1% doubt, could create the negative rather than the positive. Even a 1%. So we have to truly believe that what it is we're doing, or what it is that's happening, or what it is we're taking is going to change. Otherwise, there's a 50-50 chance it won't.
Now, do you do distance healing, or is everything?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do a lot of that.
Now,
hold on, wait, y'all can't just have a private conversation. Wait, what is it? What is distant healing? We might not know what is distant.
Okay, so in Reiki, there is a tool, a symbol that allows you to create a bridge from where you are to a person who isn't next to you. They could be around the block. They could be in another country. They could be across the country. Okay. You then invite the person to come across the bridge, and in a setting, a safe space where you're at, you actually do a Reiki session on them without them physically being present.
And the only thing you would need would be a picture, right, of the person, or an image of the person.
A picture, a name. If I get a name without a picture, then I also need a birth date, because there could be a lot of Mary Jane somebodies out there if that's their name. So usually the birth date will always connect me to the person. Plus, we always need permission. That's the number one rule. You cannot force healing on someone who has not given permission.
Yeah. And that's you. And it sounds crazy, right? Because you would think everybody wants healing, or everybody's ready for healing, but that's not the case.
It isn't. It really isn't. Sometimes people just want to hold on to their stuff.
Yeah. And I have some very deep rooted beliefs, and one of the beliefs is I believe that type 2 diabetes can be completely reversed. And I know somebody really close to me, who has type 2 diabetes, but they're not making strides to reverse it, right? And I've come across information, and I know people who have reversed type 2 diabetes, but this person is not ready for healing, or maybe her belief level may not be high enough to where she believes that her condition can be reversed,
or she doesn't love herself.
Yeah.
See, most of us fail to look at that, because if we don't feel that we're worthy, that we're good enough, then a lot of times we won't go that extra mile to do something that would be very beneficial for us. I've seen it over and over and over with people.
And that's like an unconscious self-hate, isn't it? I mean, if we're not,
well, it's not a hate. No, I wouldn't call it a hate. It's unconscious, absolutely. Because the beliefs happen automatically. They work like the back end of your computer. You don't know everything that's running in order to make your computer come up, correct? Okay, so your belief system works very much the same way. This is why we go in thinking something positive. Let's say someone really doesn't believe that they're worthy of a really good job, but yet for some reason they have an interview. They will do something unconsciously. Something will come out of their mouth. They'll do something odd that all of a sudden will sabotage it. They'll come out and they'll say, well, see, I was right. That's the sad part about beliefs, and why it's so important that we really start to love who we are, good and bad. Because in this reality, we have that. We have good, we have bad. We have beliefs or not beliefs. We have thoughts that maybe aren't really nice. The trick is, do we act on them, or do we just shut them down and not do anything? That's what makes us, to me, that's what makes a person good rather than bad. Because bad people will act on their thoughts.
All right. So I have a self-esteem question for you.
Sure.
Well, first, have you ever heard of a song called "Love Yours" by J. Cole?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't.
Okay. All right. So here's my question. It had nothing to do with the "Love Yours," but that has a lot to do with self-esteem. Okay. So here's my self-esteem question. I need you to tell me the truth on, is my self-esteem too high or is it too low?
It's too high.
True story. Oh gosh, here you go. So I might be a narcissist. This may be a narcissistic characteristic I'm about to ask. All right, but either way, here's the deal. Yesterday I was at Target, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. Somebody ask you, "Do you work here?" Okay, so typically in my lifetime, when someone asks me, "Do you work here?" I kind of get like upset. Like I take it personal. Like, yo, are you serious? Like sometimes I'm not even wearing the color of the uniform, right? But yesterday I happened to be. Okay, so this lady was like, "Do you work here?" And she didn't even wait for my answer. She just asked me, "Hey, where is the men's pants?" And I actually just helped her. I was like, "Hey, it's right back there to the right." It didn't say nothing, didn't get angry. I felt actually good. Then when she left, I said, what if something felt different yesterday? I said to myself, I said, maybe she doesn't think I work here. Maybe she just thinks I run things. Like she may be thinking that I'm a person that may know where things are at. So I looked at it a little bit different. Now, is that too high of a self-esteem to think, oh wow, and this person no longer thinks that I work here. They think I'm running this place. Like I'm running things. Like what's your take on that, Jade?
Do you want an honest answer?
I want a very honest answer.
To me, that's judgment. And when you have judgment, it has nothing to do with self-esteem. Okay? Self-esteem means that to me, what self-esteem means is good or bad, I appreciate everyone for who they are and appreciate myself for who I am.
But the question is, should we the reason why it was a big deal for me, we like to call it small winnings, is because most of my life I would get upset, right? I would get upset like, man, why do they think I work here? I could be at Dollar Tree, I could be at Macy's, Nordstrom's, wherever. I used to always get offended. But this time it was something different it was something different where I said, maybe they don't think I work here. Maybe they just think I'm a person that knows what I'm doing, that I'm running stuff and I know where they can find that. That's not really judgment though, right? That has something to do with my self-esteem. Because if I'm thinking it's negative, if I'm like taking offense to it, that's a bad self-esteem I'm starting to feel. No,
but a bad self-esteem could also feel that you're too good to work there. See, it works both ways. Okay, self-esteem has nothing to do with any type of judgment whatsoever, and even judging how other people judge you. Self-esteem is loving you no matter what anyone else thinks, says, or believes. It's like, I know who I am, and I love me for who I am.
So I was screwed up before yesterday, and I'm still screwed up now.
Well, let's put it this way. You've taken a step forward, which really has opened you up.
You just opened up a whole nother can of worms. You said when I was thinking negative, like what? I was getting offended. You said I could think I'm too better, like I'm too good to be working.
No, I'm
here.
saying you could do either or, because you said it was only negative.
Nice to me again, Jay. Don't be so nice. I'm a big boy.
Don't mind Demetrius.
But you know, when people have a judgment, whether it be I'm too good for this or I'm not good enough, it's still not really what we call self-esteem. It's not self-love.
Okay, so
if you loved yourself, you would have said, oh, well, you know, this lady needs some help, so cool, I'll go help her.
Okay.
Afterwards, you would not have sat and thought what she would have thought. You would have just let it go because it was no big deal.
No, but yesterday I didn't care what she thought. I was caring more so about how I felt.
Yes, your self-esteem's getting better then.
Yeah, I didn't care what she said, because normally I say, yo, this person is crazy. But this time I was like, it was something more like how I felt. But here's my question. Here's the punchline, because I wanted to give a self-esteem example of some of the common things people come to you as far as what have you found that are common? Like, what are some things, if you say these few things, you have low self-esteem, or if you have these few things, your self-esteem is pretty good. Like, can you give us some examples of how we can, some self-esteem checkpoints?
Well, part of it is, how do you talk to yourself? Okay. Do you talk to yourself loving, or do you criticize yourself? So most people will come in and say, I am so tired of telling myself I can't do something, or I'm not good enough to do that when I know that I am, but part of me doesn't believe I can. These are self-esteem issues.
And is that on any level, like however deep we take those examples you just gave? Can you have moments? Can you have a day, like, let's say, is it possible to have a low self-esteem on every Monday, and then have a high self-esteem Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday comes back again, you have a low self-esteem every Monday? Is that possible?
Well, you're putting it in too much of a category, and life isn't that way. It's one of the reasons I do so many different modalities, because no one thing works for everybody. So someone might have a couple of days of really loving themselves and maybe a day of blah. Okay. Then they may have another couple of days of good, and then they may have 2 or 3 days of bad.
When does it become an issue?
What do you mean when does it become an issue?
Is if you have low self-esteem, is that good or bad?
That's not a good thing.
Okay, so if it's not a good thing, there has to be some type of measuring stick where we say, okay, maybe I've been in this type of mood or in this type of emotion for a little bit too long. Like, right. Where's the measuring point of us knowing? Because there's some people that they may have a down 2 weeks, and then the next 6 weeks they're up, and then the next 2 weeks they're not. Like, what is a balance? Like, what's a measuring stick that we can?
Okay, so see, people that have that down 2 weeks and up 6 and down another 2, these are the people that are come to me for help.
Ah, see, there we go. Okay,
because they want to have it all the time be good. People who are more down all the time, okay, don't feel they're good enough to be helped. But when a person finally comes to a point of, you know, I'm tired of this, I want to think like that person thinks, then all of a sudden they'll pick up the phone or they'll pick up a book or do whatever it takes for them to change.
Ah, now I appreciate that.
But you can't, you can't label it and put it in a box and say this is how it is, because it's never that way. Life isn't that way.
Yeah, it isn't. But there's some people that don't know if they have low self-esteem or not. And I think the example that you just gave, not only do they know when they should call out for some help, but they also know, okay, that is a pattern that she said maybe you need to contact somebody.
Mm-hmm. See, my belief is when we're in our own little box, and we are, every one of us live in a box, okay, because it's our beliefs, our thoughts, what we do, it's everything of who we are. It's a box. And when we want to be out of the box, because we want to be more open, usually it will take someone else or something else like a book or a CD or a DVD, because we don't know what else is possible.
Okay. So here's my last question, and then Charles is going to wrap us up here. All right. So here's the last question. I've heard a lot of times that there's a lot more people who are alcoholics who don't know that they're alcoholics than there are people who are alcoholics. And there's several other things that has been found to be true. In your studies, in your research, and your workings for the past 11 years, what do you think? Do you think there's more people that have low self-esteem that know it, or that don't know that they have self-esteem?
I believe they don't know.
Ah.
That's my belief. Because if an alcoholic doesn't believe he's an alcoholic, he's actually kidding himself. Okay? He's not looking forward. He's living in his past.
Mm.
And the only way we can grow and learn is by turning our back on our past, learning from it, but walking forward and being in that little teeny bit of fear that we could fail. But as we walk forward and we believe, well, but what if this works? That's when people start to grow.
And was there a specific time in your studies these past 11 years where what makes you say that so quickly and confidently that most people don't know that they have low self-esteem?
Because I see it all the time.
Wow.
Out here in California, I do a lot of networking. I work at a school in Irvine where I do some of my teaching. So I see a lot of people coming in and out, and a lot of people kid themselves just like an alcoholic might.
Mm.
They really, really think they do. And then you'll ask them a question and you can tell by their answer, they don't.
So it's like a reflex answer to say, yeah, I don't have low self-esteem. My self-esteem is fine.
Or one of the biggest questions I ask people, how easy is it for you to receive? Even receive a compliment. Do you ever notice when people receive a compliment, especially if it's hair or clothes or something, they'll say, oh, this thing? They're making an excuse because they can't even accept a compliment.
And then they
There's a
complain about
sure
never
sign
getting them, right?
of low self-esteem.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. But Jay, we want to thank you so much for coming on to Inner Success Radio and sharing. I know a lot of insight has been revealed to a lot of people listening in right now. I know throughout the interview, you mentioned a couple of books that you have and the locations. Can you just rename the books that you have and where people can find them?
Well, I'm on Amazon for sure. The Reiki books would be Reiki level 1 and 2, but if they went to my website, all they had to do was click on the links and it would take them right there. My itty bitty book it's called Your Amazing Itty Bitty Self-Esteem Book, 15 Essential Steps for Gaining and Keeping High Self-Worth. Nice. It's the power of loving yourself. Nice.
And what's your website, Jade?
My website is very easy. It's www.jadeelizabeth.com.
Awesome. And one thing we always do, Jade, is we include links in the show notes so people listening in can easily access and click on the link as they're listening to it from their smartphones. And cool. We always end the show with a question/scenario. So in your email signature, you have Namaste.
Yes.
Can you tell us what Namaste is and what particularly it means to you?
Do you actually know the definition of Namaste?
I was watching a guy on YouTube. It was a Qigong video, and he was explaining. He says the spirit within me recognizes the spirit within you. I don't know.
At the end of every single one of my classes, we recite this out loud, and I will recite it for you.
Uh-oh.
I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. And when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste.
Awesome. Jade, again, thanks so much for coming on. And for all of our listeners, be sure to check us out at innersuccessradio.com. Be sure to subscribe. We're giving away a free 30-minute audio from Jerry Clark, multimillionaire. We're on Facebook, Inner Success Radio. You can find us on iTunes, iHeart, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and a bunch of other locations. I have no idea where we are. We're everywhere. And we're continuing to grow. 2017 is going to be an amazing year for Inner Success Radio, and we want all of you to be a part. And until next episode, we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.
Thank you.